who like scary movies and coffee.
The following show is based on research on horror movies and what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite scary movies. HORDE Entertainment or ReAnimateHer is not responsible for the macabre and horror that you are about to witness. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. John Carpenter's horror films changed the genre forever. And today on Coffee Chat of Horrors, I'm literally digging myself out of my grave to talk about one of the most influential horror filmmakers of all time. Ghoul Day Creepeies, and welcome back to Coffee Chat of Horrors, the cozy horror talk show where we sip something warm and resurrect horror legends. I'm your queen of scream, ReAnimateHer, and today we're talking about John Carpenter, filmmaker, composer, gamer, Western lover, and absolute horror icon. This isn't just a filmography episode. This is about who John Carpenter is, how he thinks, why his films feel the way they do, and why his work still crawls under our skin decades later. So grab your mug, settle in, and let's dig him up properly. Hello, Don. How are you? You got to reboot your server. Hello, Star Wars Marvel purist. How are you? Scrooged is great. Oracle. Let's get ready to rumble with this live stream. How are you? It's getting hot in here. In this corner, the Canadian badass ReAnimateHer. Thank you, Oracle. How are you? Hi, Reaper, 1923. Reaper is my cohort in Coffee Chat of Horrors. He helps create these pictures that you are going to see here right now on my overlay. Yeah, Serial, sounds good. Sounds good. What is everybody's favorite John Carpenter film? I'm kind of curious on what, because we're going to talk about a few things today. So I'd love to see and hear what your favorite John Carpenter film is. If you want, you can put it in the comments. If you're watching on Rumble, don't forget to like, post, and comment in chat. You can do it anywhere you like. Prince of Darkness, that's a good one, Natural Heal. Hello, Slipknot. The Fog, that's a great friggin' movie. Great movie. Halloween, They Live. I love They Live as well. Halloween. Hi, Bane. My phone always defaults to username. Doing well. Ready to hear some Carpenter talk. Sweet. I'm excited. I'm excited to tell you guys all about it. The Thing is a friggin' masterpiece. Hell yeah, Trini. I love it. I love it that so many of you have picked The Thing, The Halloween, They Live, Prince of Darkness. I know Prince of Darkness is not on everybody's list, but that is part of his like end of the world trilogy, apocalyptic trilogy. That's heavy saying hi. But yeah, so many good ones. The Thing is the thing would be a masterpiece in my opinion. But In the Mouth of Madness is, where the hell did you get that?
From the safe.
Wow.
I'm gonna make dummies now.
You're gonna, oh, okay. You got some Everclear?
Yes.
Sweet. You love his shirt? Oh, God. Yeah. In the Mouth of Madness is amazing. Your shirt, not my shirt.
They can't see what it says.
They can see some of it.
Do they want to see all of it?
Do you want to see all of his shirt?
No.
Here, you got to come into the...
There you go.
Starman's a great film, Roth. Starman, yes, it is. And Slipknot, I would agree with you. Mouth of Madness.
Yep.
Pretty much in that order, exactly.
Damn.
Big Trouble Little China, that's one of Heavy's favorites. Big Trouble Little China. It's a good movie, SSJ. He makes masterpieces, even if they don't make a masterpiece at the movie theater itself.
Now I'm gonna go make gummies.
All right, you go make gummies. You want to lower the heat a little bit? I'm dying in here. He ate the cat food. All right, now, hi, Dark Raven. I'm good. How are you? John Howard Carpenter was born January 16th, 1948. His birthday is coming up, guys. Raised between Carthage, New York, and Bowling Green, Kentucky. From a very young age, he was obsessed with movies, especially low-budget horror and science fiction B pictures. And this matters because Carpenter never lost that love. Even when he had bigger budgets, his heart stayed with the outsider cinema the stuff that feels scrappy, paranoid, and a little dangerous. And I love that. Escape from New York. Yeah, Escape from New York is great. LA as well. Yeah, my kids loved Big Trouble Little China. Just recently showed them. That is awesome. Yeah, no worries, Prophets. Gotta start on number 1 on that list, right? Prophets. It's very underrated. Most people don't. I did a CCOH on In the Mouth of Madness. Maybe we'll do it again. We'll rehash it up. We'll dig it up. Music also shaped him early. His father was a music professor, and Carpenter started learning violin at just 8 years old. But instead of classical prestige, he fell in love with the electronic sounds of Forbidden Planet and later taught himself the 5/4 time on bongos as a teenager, something that would directly influence his eerie, off-kilter synth scores. Did you know that John Carpenter composed most of his own music? Or did you guys think that it was somebody else that did his music? Happy Sunday, Speedy. Happy Sunday. Me and Wicked Jester put horror movie bro streams on YouTube. Okay, awesome, Dark Raven. That's awesome. GG's. Gonna be Dark Star and Ghost of Mars. Ghost of Mars is an epic fucking movie. I love that movie. Really surprised he was not invested in Death Proof. Yeah, there's quite a few movies he actually turned down to direct, and we're going to dive into that. We are going to dive into that as well. I've got some good information for you. Now, I know back in the day, so Deadwalk had no idea who did the music for his films, and a lot of people back in the day did not. This is, obviously well before Google and all of that jazz. Now we have all the information at our fingertips that we can pull up anything that we want, and I think it's great. As I was deep diving, I knew I watched a thing on John Carpenter previously.
Deep dive you. Aluminum foil.
It's in the pantry. You can tell who does most of the cooking in the kitchen. He's like, where's the aluminum foil? I think there's some people that don't even know ITMOM exists, right? We are going to get to a few different little things on John Carpenter here. He has done the majority of his own music. He was in a band. He also released numerous albums. There were some times that he collaborated with other people to do music for his movies. Christine is another. Oh yeah, Christine is a great movie. We're going to actually touch a little bit on Christine as well today, which is nice. Okay, so Carpenter attended USC Film School during the rise of the American New Wave, which was surrounded by legends like Spielberg, Lucas, and Scorsese, which were considered the movie brat pack back in the day. However, another crowd emerged from this new golden age of Hollywood, and a legendary creator would reshape the horror and science fiction genres, ultimately becoming more influential than most of his peers. John Carpenter's films stand out for their music more than any other horror director, to be honest. I would have to agree with you, Reaper. I would have to agree with you. The way he sees things and the way he wants way he wants his vision to pop up on the big screen, it's pretty amazing. The Indianapolis was a nasty event. Quint wasn't exaggerating when he talked about what happened to the people in the water. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Yeah, he did. He also included his friends on his seats, like having Robert Englund spreading leaves on the set of Halloween. That he did. I find a lot of horror directors actually give a helping hand to their friends and bring them in, whether it's on the set, whether it's acting, whether it's doing a band. Damn, we getting bonus facts from Serial. Yeah. I actually did a CCOH on John Carpenter before, but it was on my podcast only, not on a vodcast. I also deep dived Halloween, but I probably won't re-deep dive Halloween because everybody has done Halloween out there. We'll just keep it to the lesser known movies. That was about the quiz. Yes, I know we have a nice quiz that goes up in there, the Indianapolis, which is the Jaws trivia. Hello, Golden Plushie. How are you? And it's definitely a sad thing. CCOH, right? CCOH extras. Definitely. Okay. A squirrel. Okay, so his student film Dark Star 1974 became his thesis. A weird, funny, deeply philosophical, deeply funny sci-fi story that feels shockingly modern. I have an issue with the word. Years before Alien, Carpenter was already exploring isolation, space horror, and existential dread. Has anybody seen Dark Star? I know, I'm always squirreling. Love Studio 666. It's one of my favorites. And he is in there. He has a cameo in there. He does music in there. If you guys haven't seen Studio 666, please go do so. It's a great friggin' movie. I get my gasoline, a banana, and some duct tape in that order. I fucking love Scary Movie too. It's so funny. It is funny. Nope, haven't seen Dark Star. You have Darkbreaker? Nice. Well, that was his thesis, right? Dark Star was released 1974. He was doing space horror before space horror was really a full-on thing. The film led directly to Assault on Precinct 13, which was 1976. A modern urban western inspired by Howard Hawks' Rio Bravo and filtered through the bleak violence of Night of the Living Dead. Who here has seen Assault on Precinct 13? Have I watched The Thing? Oh, Vanessa, yeah, I own The Thing on numerous copies, from VHS, DVD, to Blu-ray, to 4K. Yeah, you should see my physical media collection. Precinct 13 was just okay for me. I haven't seen it. Oh, you haven't seen it either. Oh, okay. The remake, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the remake. It wasn't horrible. And I actually enjoyed Assault on Precinct 13, but these were some of Carpenter's earlier films, right? Yeah, you didn't like the remake either? Yeah, I've seen Precinct 13. Betamax, I don't have that on Betamax, no. So Arthur, you've seen it on both. Nice, the remake. Yeah, I have both. The remake are okay. So yes, I have, and the remake, both are good. I miss having a physical media. Yeah, I collect physical media. Now I only collect the movies that I really want. Before I was collecting a lot of just everything. But now I'm very selective with what I have. I don't like remake version of The Thing. Well, technically, John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake of the original film, but we won't discuss that right now. The Thing is a masterpiece. Now, there is a remake of The Thing from the 80s with Kurt Russell that was remade later on. That one's not too bad either. But technically, The Thing is a remake of the original. Okay, so Carpenter once said the Western was his favorite genre, and ironically, he never made a full Western, but he made it over and over in horror. And I believe he has done that, especially in horror form. The CGI Fest one, yeah, that one was a remake later on. Wasn't that one like, was a prequel? Was technically a prequel? Wasn't that one like, I want to say, was it 2011? Was it the early 2000s, the prequel? There's a remake of a remake. Yeah, exactly. Laserdisc, we are dating ourselves here. Oh, I almost had my hands on a copy of American Werewolf in London on Laserdisc. Yes, okay, The Thing, 2011 was a prequel. Thanks, Roth, thanks. Yeah, the prequel? Yeah. It was okay. I didn't think it was horrible. I didn't think it was horrible at all. I thought it was okay. I mean, yes, it was CGI filled. I watched that 2011 The Thing at the Calgary Horror Con for the first time. I was sitting in my hotel room. I believe it was with Monkey Van Meowerton, and it was the first time working the Horror Con and doing the panels, and I couldn't sleep. So I was watching 2011 The Thing. Yeah. Yeah, early 2000s. Thanks, Star Wars. I appreciate that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about basically the birth of modern horror. Then came Halloween, 1978. The film that didn't invent the slasher, but it perfected it. And Michael Myers wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. He was inevitable. Carpenter famously based Myers' emotionless presence on a 13-year-old boy he saw during a school trip to a mental institution, describing the child's stare as completely empty. The Steadicam shots, the slow pacing, the minimalistic synth score written in 5/4 time, Halloween made fear patient. Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode reshaped the final girl archetype and the slasher formula we still use today. Carpenter later said the R rating was justified for Halloween, but believed The Fog should have been PG, which honestly tells you a lot about how he sees horror as atmospheric and not gore. Hello, Naomi. Hello, David. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. I hope you guys are doing good. You should have been out drinking with me in the early Oh, no. At the HorrorCon? Yeah, I know. Oh, you drink a lot. 'Twas supposed to be only one. Yes, there was only supposed to be one Halloween movie. The movie Halloween was supposed to be chapters of an anthology, not all about Michael Myers. And now we have an entire franchise surrounded by Michael. Carpenter's cinematography, Dean Cundy. I don't remember the name. The original, 1958. I know I did a CCOH on it. I just don't remember the name of the director. I can't think of it. The director is Aaron Yeworth and Russell Droughton, Lady Sagara. And that is the original Blob. All right. There is a remake of the Blob in 1988 with Shawnee Smith, which the Blob in 1988 is definitely more graphic and more visceral, and that one was done by Chuck Russell. So the OG one was in 1958 and the remake was in 1988. I did a CCOH on that. If you're interested, lady, you're over on YouTube. In my playlist of Coffee Chat of Horrors, I did a double feature where I deep dove the 1958 classic The Blob and did the remake from 1988, also giving you information between the differences between both of them. So you are more than welcome to go and check it out in the playlist. 1988 Blob is fantastic. It's great, but 1958 holds a very special place in my heart. If you haven't seen the original, The Blob, I'm going to tell you to go and watch it. More graphic, the better. I would agree. Black and white horror is the best. I would agree with you. I really love black and white horror. I love the Blob remake in 88 as a kid, right? It was scary. It was definitely scary. And is that why we got Halloween 3? I heard John Carpenter wrote Black Moon Rising, but never saw it. Ooh. Halloween was supposed to be an anthology, and so many believe the name of the movie was Halloween, but it was actually called The Night He Came Home. Yeah, it was The Night He Came Home. Halloween is an anthology named like Tales from the Crypt. Exactly. That's why Halloween 2 wasn't supposed to be about Michael Myers, but they made so much money on Halloween, and people wanted Michael, so he was forced to do a sequel. Carpenter doesn't like doing sequels, so he was forced to do Halloween 2. So there we go. It was all about the money when it came down to the production, right? The producers, they wanted a Halloween 2. He was very popular serial. He was, and he still is today, though, when you think about it. He's still quite popular today. John Carpenter's Vampires 1998 is my favorite. Yeah, it's a great movie, Kirby's. How are you doing? Our original has a young Steve McQueen. It does. The original does have a young Steve McQueen in it. Nice, Vanessa. I've liked scary movies since all I could remember. The Fog budget 1.58. Escape from New York. Yeah. If anybody is interested, there is a playlist called Coffee Chat of Horrors over on YouTube. I have been deep diving movies for over 8 years. Horror movies, to be exact. So if you are interested in checking out the playlist, please do so, because I've done everything. I've done John Carpenter's Vampires. I've done In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness, Event Horizon. Hi, Speedy. Love your guts as well. You look really beautiful today. I thank you, Kirby. I appreciate that. Steve McQueen, The Blob was the only horror sci-fi here was ever. Do you know? Oh, well, I'm going to scroll, so we're not going to talk about it. But did you know that there was actually blob sightings in real life in about the 1990s? Tom Savini, a producer too, or just FX. He does a lot of things, Prophets. You know what, Prophets? I did a deep dive on Tom Savini about a month or so ago. It is on my YouTube channel. Stop stealing my name. I know they're over on YouTube, Speedy. You're Speedy Misha. They're Speedy GZ. You know what? I should actually have my playlist sitting here so I can just give it to you guys. Event Horizon gets better every time I watch it. I don't care. The effects are a bit dated. Amazing movie. Oh, it's a freaking awesome movie. You can definitely see that it was inspired by some Hellraiser stuff that we have going on in there. Ra already scrolled so much she practically hit a toddler going off the road. Exactly. Tom Savini is a savant. Tom Savini is the godfather. Like, he's so great of everything. I mean, you also have to give it to Greg Nicotero. There's a lot of great people, creators for that matter, in horror. And I mean, not just horror alone, but in horror as it is. I am trying to find that playlist for you. So then it's just easier. Let's see. All right, so the interviews have 30. All right, I'm going to give you guys the playlist for it. Okay, hold up. Why won't it let me play it? All right, there we go. Oh God, I would have loved to go to Tom's school as well. Like, are you kidding me? That is amazing. That should be the playlist there. It should open up a playlist for you for Coffee Chat of Horrors, or I'm not even sure, but yeah. It should open up that for you there if you're interested in my playlist of CCOH, if you enjoy that kind of stuff. Savini has a makeup school outside Pittsburgh. Yeah, a friend's daughter almost went there. She does outstanding stuff for her own Halloween outfits. That's amazing. We spoke about a month ago, like I said, about a month ago, I spoke about Tom Savini. I deep dived him from his start, who he was, where he was, how he got started. If you're ever interested, it is in that playlist right there. I had to switch. Purple froze on me. Yeah, no worries, Zombie. Everyone has issues with purple for some reason. And my bitrate's still like red over there. Okay, now that I squirreled so effing much, I have a question. Is Halloween scary because of Michael Myers? Or because of the way Carpenter films space and silence? What do you guys think? I think Michael has a sense of scariness himself, but without the atmosphere of space and silence, I don't think he would be as scary. I think the fact that Michael is known as the shape, the thing that's not really there, but it's actually there, is scarier than the man himself. It's the music and the pacing that definitely gives a bit to the feel of his look as Michael Myers. I would agree with you, Natural. I love the pacing and the music in Halloween. That leads up to the intensity of the scares. It definitely is a vibe, Deadwalk, 100%. He do send me that awesome video of his shop for me. Still my favorite video. Oh, yes, Serial. I remember you have that in your stream, don't you? The score, David? Space and silence? Yeah, how it's filmed? I would agree. I would definitely agree. Expecting he could turn up at any time. Yeah, the whole thing is a vibe. I mean, Michael himself, when you visually look at Michael, he's not scary. Well, not to me at least. Visually, Michael is not scary. However, you add in the silence, right? You add in the music. You add in all of the darkness, the atmosphere. He's scary as hell. That's what made him so scary. That was one of the biggest reasons I couldn't get behind the new Halloween series. The new Halloween chapters, they're in their own universe. They made Michael look at me, Michael. They made him Jason Voorhees. Jason has always been over the top juggernaut of death, where Michael has always been in the shadows, cold and calculated. They lost that in the 3 new movies. 100% lost that in the 3 movies, and that's why I just can't get behind it. Or we can just say it's a total package. It is. It really is. Some people say Michael Myers is scarier than the other horror slashes. I would have to agree in a certain extent, Vanessa. Halloween is scary because Michael is presented in a minimalist way, like a ghost almost. Then it's great music and slow movement and direct kill with only minimal movements. Yes, I would agree with you, Serial. 'Twas the essence of the shape that made Halloween. The silence and the atmosphere made Michael scary. The new Halloween films lack any aspect that made Halloween what it was. 110%. The appearing just standing there and then he's gone and makes it exactly, Cyril. That's what made Michael so scary, was the fact that you thought you saw something, but you weren't sure. So you're going to go down that dark hallway anyway to investigate it. That's what Michael made you do. And that's what made Michael so scary. One minute he's there, next minute he isn't. The editing of John does not cut up his movies. He lets them believe. He knows what he, oh yeah, John Carpenter knows what he wants. He definitely knows what he wants, and he knows what he doesn't want, right? Okay, so let's get on to the next section. All right, so in the 1980s gave us Carpenter's bigger budget and bigger risks. He adapted Stephen King's The Fog and Christine. He leaned into sci-fi paranoia, and then came The Thing, 1982. The film Carpenter has said hurt him the most when it failed. Critics hated it, audience rejected it, and Carpenter took that personally. Now, it's considered one of the greatest horror films ever made, and I would have to say it is a movie that I call a masterpiece. There aren't many movies that I call a masterpiece, but The Thing is. Visually, music form, everything about it was scary and creepy, and yeah. I think it's one of his best movies. Carpenter set the scene, and Donald Pleasance adds the story of Michael. Yeah, which is a movie. Yes, Michael has been injured. They don't speak per se, Vanessa, but Jason does make some sounds. He does make some sounds. Deadwalk, exactly. That's why I was happy when Terrifier 2 and 3 came out. Way better movies than the trash Halloween remakes. I would have to agree, but Terrifier 2 and 3 was great with gore, but the story sucked. So many great movies. What are Carpenter's worst movies? I don't know what you would call Carpenter's worst movies, but I'm sure critics would. I'm sure critics have a list of them. I don't think any of his movies were horrible. I can't really talk about John without mentioning Deborah Hill. Yeah, because she was amazing. She was the perfect team partner for him. Yes, there is actually a documentary about Deborah Hill. If anyone is interested in it, and Shudder does have quite a few really good documentaries where they talk about John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, as well as Halloween and several other movies that they worked on. Jason laughs in part 8. Yeah. So Jason does make noises throughout some of the chapters on who's playing him. You just have to notice it. And that's how Ra would die in a horror movie. Did I see what I think I saw? Goes to investigate, runs into killer dying words. Fuck, I knew I shouldn't have investigated. You're not wrong. That movie has inspired a board game series called Betrayal, I think. Oh, interesting, Sagara. Interesting. The Thing may actually be my favorite of all time. The Thing is one of my favorites of all time, as well as Big Trouble Little China. There's an ad incoming. Okay, thanks. We can squirrel away that there's an ad incoming. Hello, Moon over Miami. How are you? Oh, my house smells like the plant cannabis. Heavy is making gummies as we speak. All right, guys, there's an ad over on Twitch. You guys know what that means. I get to squirrel even more while the ads go off. Don't worry, my Twitchy people. I will not go into any details without you being here. Let's all hide behind the chainsaws. He will never find us here. What movie was that from, Zombie? I can't think of it. Terrifier 1 was perfect if only Art stayed dead. I would agree with you, Serial. Terrifier 1 is perfect. I liked Terrifier 2 and 3 because of the gore and violence. I did not like the story. I was disgusted at the whole final girl bullshit. I was disgusted in the fact that she's a fucking Shira. I don't know. I did not like this good versus evil horse shit that we had in 2 or 3. Wasn't that a Geico commercial or something with the chainsaws? It sounded familiar. I can't remember a Natural Heal where it's from, but that is, it's from a commercial about hiding behind chainsaws. Is it? Yeah. Okay, guys, there's an ad break has begun. Just stay with us. Yeah, the story is more simple. I think he's finishing the story with Dante's Inferno, Ninth Circle story he started with on his first shot. I like the return to practical effects and avoidance. Yeah, I would have to say Star Wars, I really liked the original Terrifier. You know, David Howard Horton did not play Art the Clown in the originals, right? That was a completely different person, and it was a Geico commercial. Okay, thank you. It was a Geico commercial. For those of you that might be new to my coffee chat of horrors, I do not hide CCOH behind a paywall. When we get ads, I literally stop the deep dive. I don't want anyone to miss out. I don't want to force anyone to subscribe to me on a monthly basis to watch something. So this is why I squirrel and I stop my deep dives, because I don't want anyone to miss out on information. We squirrel like a mofo. We definitely do. Do you remember the party back at the motel? Big eye, pointy teeth, really shitty breath. Yes, I do. I remember that. You're bait, honey. Sorry. Montoya says that to Katrina. This is one of the best lines of vampires. I remember that one. Yes. I actually own the collector's edition of Vampires. Plus, I have a collector's edition movie poster of John Carpenter's Vampires. David Howard Thornton was in first Terrifier. No, yeah, he was in the first Terrifier movie in 2016. That is definitely not Art's first appearance. Art's first appearance actually happened in a short film that was less than 15 minutes long. Then again, later on in another short. And then in All Hallows Eve is where we get to see even more of Art the Clown. I did a whole deep dive into that Star Wars over on my YouTube channel. The Ninth Circle, yep. I did a whole deep dive on Art the Clown and Terrifier, where it started, where it came from, and how it's going. Coffee Chat of Horrors, I also was podcasting horror movie. Yeah, I used to do just a simple podcast, Coffee Chat of Horrors, and then Coffee Chat of Horrors After Dark. I deep dived John Carpenter back then. And that was just for my podcast. Nothing like we have now. Nothing like we have now. He wasn't in the Ninth or All Hallows Eve. David Howard Thornton wasn't. No, Art the Clown was. Yeah, that gecko is expensive. Geico? No, I deep dive Terrifier and Art the Clown. I know everything about Damien Leon and his creation of Art the Clown and the Ninth Circle. David Howard Thornton came in later on. Welcome back from that ad. Welcome back from that ad. I scroll Betrayal and House on Haunted Hill, but there was a Thing board game and card game. It wouldn't surprise me if there was. Well, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Coffee Chat of Horrors. Don't worry, I did not speak of any more information when that ad happened, so you guys don't miss a thing. Scroll time's over. Okay. Some horror films fail because they're bad. The Thing failed because it was too honest about mistrust, isolation, and humanity. And when you look at The Thing and you see that, you can add these three into that movie: mistrust, isolation, and humanity. And it makes it even more scarier when you look at it that way, when you compare it to real life. They say art imitates life. And a lot of the movies that we watch in horror, they do imitate life, and life is hella more scarier than any horror movie, and more violent and more graphic than any horror movie out there to this day, even more than a Serbian film. Now he's a douchebag, like I always thought he was when he started to fuck around at HorrorCon. Oh, yeah, I get it, Serial. Yeah, I know you don't like Damien Leon. You're typing with one hand? Awesome. One-hand typing is hard, but you can get fast at it. All right. So I told you guys earlier that Carpenter loved music, and Carpenter never stopped being a musician. He played in rock bands in college, later forming the Coupe de Villes with Tommy Lee Wallace and Nick Castle. Those names might sound familiar to you. Do you know Tommy Lee Wallace, and do you know who Nick Castle is? Thornton Bart, Art the Clown to Life? Yeah. Cigar, it's better than one-hand typing that I'm using both. He did in 2 and 3, for sure, Serial. Do you guys know who Tommy Lee Wallace is or Nick Castle? Anybody? No, you're good. You're good, Serial. I always squirrel. If you don't know the names Tommy Lee Wallace or Nick Castle, I will tell you who they are and what they mean to the horror genre. You've never heard of that. Nick Castle did The Tingler. No, that's William Castle, my love. William Castle. So William Castle is one of my favorite horror directors of all time, the godfather of the gimmick. But no, Tommy Lee. Okay, so first off, Tommy Lee Wallace is a film director and screenwriter. Okay. Hello, Angus. How are you? How are you? Nick Castle was the Shape in Halloween. You got that. You got that, tail tap. You've got that. You are not allowed to be friends with me anymore, people. I know. Okay, so Tommy Lee Wallace is known for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Fright Night Part 2, Vampires Los Muertos, Halloween 1978, It 1990, as well as many, many other films. Now, Nick Castle, he is a friend with John Carpenter, just like Tommy Lee. Yeah, he has an array of movies underneath his belt, guys. If you don't know Tommy Lee Wallace, please go and look him up. Maybe I'll do a deep dive into Tommy Lee Wallace. You know what? Reaper, are you here? If you're here, Reaper, can we add Tommy Lee Wallace to our deep dives? Because it seems that people don't know who Tommy Lee Wallace is. And I think they need to know. I think they need to know more. Now, Nick Castle has done a ton of movies, not just stunts or anything like that. He also is the Shape. Now, the Shape, aka Michael Myers, is also played by several other people as well. Not just Nick Castle, but he is known for that. And he's been in several other movies. He's been in The Last Starfighter, Dennis the Menace, Halloween 2, Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills, Halloween, and so many movies. He is a writer. He is a director. He is another creative. He is a musician. He with Tommy Lee Wallace and Nick Castle and John Carpenter started the Coupe de Villes. So does Heavy, Darkbreaker. Heavy loves The Last Starfighter. It's one of his favorites. I had a moment. I follow him on Twitter. Nice. Have you ever collected chihuahuas? I don't collect animals, but I had a chihuahua once. His name was Mr. Chico. He wasn't even supposed to be Michael. No, he wasn't supposed to be Michael, but they needed someone to step in and couldn't afford anyone. 100%. 100%. Hello, Joshua. Happy Sunday. Okay, let's stay on track, my friends. Okay. Now, his film scores became iconic, and in 2024, he released Lost Themes, Roman numeral 4, Noir, proving his music could exist outside his movies. His collaborations with Alan Howarth helped define the sound of horror, minimalist, electronic, and hypnotic. If you've not listened to any of John Carpenter's music outside of his movies, I'm going to highly suggest it. I have a couple of his albums. His music is pretty awesome. Tommy Lee Wallace added to the list. Thank you, Reaper. I appreciate you. We will be deep diving Tommy Lee Wallace in the new year, so stay tuned for that one. I love how you say chihuahua, a chihuahua, because he's a chihuahua. One for my Spotify list, definitely. Please go check out John Carpenter's music. If you love his movies, you will definitely love his music. Oh, I bought his Firestarter OST 2 weeks ago. Awesome cover. Right, Angus? He makes some great music. Seriously, if you only know his movies, please check out his music. Just like the Shatner mask, only they could afford. Yes, exactly. And they did a few different things to the Shatner mask to make it what it is today. Okay, so let's get into his personal side of things. You guys know that John Carpenter is a huge gamer, right? He is. Definitely Naomi. His son Cody got him hooked, and to this day Carpenter plays Halo, God of War, Assassin's Creed, and Dishonored, and a few more. He attends E3, and this man is a nerd. And he is helping to create the game Halloween, and that releases in September of 2026. Yeah, he's a big gamer. He is a big gamer. He is a nerd, just like the rest of us. Yeah, and I found out that he was a gamer a few years back when I did my first deep dive. I probably have to say probably about 6-7 years ago, I found out that he was a gamer and some of the games that he likes. He is also coming out with another game that's releasing early of 2026, right? Toxic Commando. So not only does he love playing video games, he's also getting into creating video games. He is working intimately, that was his exact words when he was interviewed about the game Halloween that is being created by IllFonic. By IllFonic, not Gun Media. I know a lot of people have some idea that Gun Interactive is actually making the Halloween game, and they're not. It's IllFonic who's making the game, and Carpenter is intimately working with them through everything of the game. And that's really, really exciting. And if you have been paying attention to any of the Halloween news for the game, you should be just as excited as I am. Yeah, big gamer. Yeah, looking forward to that game. Me too. 100%. Can't wait to hear the soundtrack for Toxic Commanders. It's going to be exciting. If you come to Japan, you might see the horror movie collection, but they collect something like anime and Hello Kitty items. But changing the topic, I'll go with John Carpenter movies. John Carpenter makes a lot of great movies. Okay. So not only does he love gaming, and gaming is a huge part of his life, he also loves old Cadillac cars. He loves Howard Hawks. He also loves Sergio Leone casting Lee Van Cleef in Escape from New York. He loves Godzilla, the Beach Boys, and he is definitely in love with the NBA basketball. He holds a helicopter pilot license. He hates wearing production hats for luck reasons and appears in his own films under the name Rip Hate. RIP HAIGHT. It sounded like I was doing the whole alphabet there for a moment. Have you guys seen the movie Body Bags? It's a John Carpenter film. Body Bags has Body Bags has quite a few horror icons in it, including Wes Craven. Body Bags came out in 1993. That is the movie that we watched before we did Coffee Chat of Horrors. So on Saturdays, I watch a horror movie in the Discord, and it's usually a movie that we're going to deep dive on CCOH or a director that we're going to deep dive. Body Bags is a John Carpenter film, and it's a 1993 American horror comedy. And it has a ton of great actors, directors in that. Wes Craven is in it. Carpenter is in it. Tobe Hooper is in it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Body Bags is also, it's a TV movie, right? It's a TV movie that came out in 1993. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to tell you to go check it out. John Carpenter, Tobe Hooper, and Larry Sulkis are the three directors. Billy Brown and Dan Angel are the writers. John Carpenter, Tom Arnold, and Tobe Hooper all star in this movie. So if you haven't seen the Body Bag, Go do it. Go do it. Do it. Do it. What the hell is Discord autocorrect and insulted fish? What? Now, films that Carpenter turned down, and I want to hear what you guys have thoughts on this. So, Top Gun. John Carpenter was offered to direct Top Gun. Turned it down. What do you think Top Gun would have been like if he did it? Do you think it would have been good? Do you think it would have been as iconic as it is now with the current director? Autocorrect said discard instead of discord. Autocorrect can be a biatch sometimes. It is situated a morgue, and Carpenter plays the mortician. Oh, yeah, it's a good movie. Wes Craven plays a pervert. So he turned down to direct Top Gun, Fatal Attraction, Zombieland, The Golden Child. See, I think The Golden Child he would have done wonders with because of Big Trouble Little China. Hello, Wickedy. How are you? Hopefully better. I hate Top Gun. Shit movie. No Tom Cruise or Val Kilmer. Wes Craven played himself. Yeah. Yes, he did, Vanessa, in New Nightmare. I despise Tom Cruise. A lot of people don't like Tom Cruise, including myself. I don't know. JC directing Top Gun sounds like an odd match. He turned it down, though. Just getting back home, it started to rain when I was on my morning walk. Oh. It would have been interesting to see him do Top Gun. Ha! I like Top Gun for the nostalgia. I like Top Gun at 2. Top Gun's a great fucking movie. Whether or not you like Tom Cruise or not, I like Top Gun. I also like a few others. Thank you, Deadwalk. We're just about getting to the end, so I'm not overly worried. I love Vampires. Original soundtrack, nice. Golden Child had some horror elements. Of course it did. Golden Plushie and fantasy. I think he would have done well with the Golden Child, to be honest with you, because it's very similar flow with Big Trouble Little China. He probably would have found some way to cast Kurt Russell in Top Gun. You're not wrong. He loves Kurt Russell, by the way. He holds a high respect for Kurt. One of the biggest reasons that he is in a lot of John Carpenter films is not because he's a friend of John Carpenter, but he is such a diverse actor, and Kurt Russell isn't afraid to be dumb. He isn't afraid to push boundaries either. And he utilized Kurt in a lot of his films because of that, not just because they were friends. Tim Curry as the devil in Legend. Yeah, definitely. My favorite Tom Cruise movie is Legend with Tim Curry. Yeah, Tim Curry is amazing. Both OG and the new one. I like Val Kilmer tribute they did in Top Gun. I haven't seen the new Top Gun, so I can't speak anything about the new Top Gun. I don't mind Tom Cruise, just don't like Top Gun. Never bothered with the second one. Ooh, Maverick and Goose. That's why I was surprised. No Death Proof. Yeah, I would have been interested to see. He was also supposed to direct Firestarter, but lost the job after The Thing underperformed. Did you know that one? Despite everything, Halloween 1978 is now preserved in the National Film Registry, cementing his legacy forever. John Carpenter didn't chase trends. He created moods, spaces, and fears that still linger. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and share Coffee Chat of Horrors with your fellow creepies. And when we return in the new year for CCOH on January 4th, we're going to be diving headfirst into chaos with House of a Thousand Corpse, Grindhouse Horror, Rob Zombie, and Pure Madness. Yeah, so that is our Coffee Chat of Horrors today. And I did it. I stayed on track for the most part. I stayed on track. I'm just going to do my ending real quick for YouTube, but we're not going anywhere, guys. I just do the ending. Until then, stay spooky, stay cozy, and I will see you in the next nightmare. John Carpenter almost directed Tombstone. Yes, 100%. 100% he almost did. The Thing flopped, but became a staple in home. Oh, yeah. It actually hurt him. when The Thing flopped. That was in an interview. He stated a couple of times that, when The Thing underperformed and people did not like it, critics did not like it, that hurt his feelings. I think the Thing is a great movie. I gave Squirrel to see if 1,000 Corpse has a comic. What on earth were people doing back then? The Thing is great. Same thing with Halloween 3, though. When I loved Halloween 3 when I saw it for the first time. But mind you, people were wanting Michael Myers in Halloween 3. When they watched The Thing, honestly, I think when people saw The Thing, and it could have been the fact that they didn't like The Thing and how honest it was. When I watch movies, even for the first time, I always see a sort of message or something in it. I don't know why my brain does that. It doesn't matter what movie I'm watching. It could be lesbian vampire killers. I could be watching that and there'd be something that comes out to me, a message, a pattern that I will see in a movie. And again, art is subjective. So what I like and what I see may be different from what you see and what you like. So when I watched the movie The Thing, why I added The Thing failed because it was too honest, that is my opinion. I think The Thing failed because it was too honest. It was about mistrust. It was about isolation and humanity. And we've seen that in real life come COVID. When COVID happened, you've seen the mistrust, the isolation, you know what I mean? And you've seen humanity at one of its worst. And people buying up all the toilet paper, people selling hand sanitizer for $50 on Amazon. You had people ratting other people out. Humanity is disgusting. And we got to see one of the worst of it in COVID. And you see this in the 80s. They Live. You see this in The Thing. And in my opinion, I think seeing the truth hurts a lot of people. And I think that's one of the reasons why the film fucking bombed. But again, that is my opinion. My opinion alone. People weren't ready for cosmic horror. I don't know about that. I wouldn't say that because sci-fi was huge. Sci-fi was huge in the 60s and 70s. I wouldn't say that they weren't ready for cosmic horror. E.T. came out, The Thing, I think people weren't ready for the tonal shift. No. E.T. came out, and that was definitely a sci-fi. Like, that's a true sci-fi movie. To me, Arthur, that's what makes sense to me. Am I the only one that enjoyed lockdown? No, I did. I loved it. I still live there. COVID social conditioning test. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm sure I'm on a government list for never wearing a mask. Take Jaws, for example. It sparked a manhunt to kill every shark in the ocean. I know. And sharks are some of the oldest creatures around, like even Blade Runner lost to E.T. Yeah, you're not wrong, Roth. And yes, it was going up against E.T. and Blade Runner, but I also don't think that E.T. and Blade Runner were the same. Were one of the reasons why it lost. There was also, Lost Boys and Near Dark, right? But saying that Blade Runner failed on release, that film was ahead of its time. Yeah, I honestly think The Thing was ahead of its time as well. I think The Thing was way ahead of its time in movie making. And we all know that most of the time when movies fail in the theater, they become iconic classics. And that's no different with The Thing. That's no different with Near Dark. I do want to see the vampire movie. John Carpenter's Vampires, great movie. They use a different aspect to vampire lore and blood. Fight Club is great. Hi, Evil Ken. Hi, King Chris. How are you? Fight Club is a fun movie. I'm glad they definitely did not remake it. I heard that they were going to. If anybody is interested in my playlist on YouTube for Coffee Chat of Horrors, the link is right there. I will pop it in chat. I have been doing Coffee Chat of Horrors for 8 years. We'll be going on 9 years come next year. No, it was not Evil Ken. It was not. There's quite a few movies that literally bombed at the box office, but became major cult classics. Carpenter, yes, we are doing we just finished up our John Carpenter deep dive. If you missed it, you can actually check out the VOD here on Rumble if you so like. I'm in the process of uploading all of my previous CCOHs that I have on YouTube to Rumble, so you guys can enjoy the deep dives that I do. We will be coming back in the new year. January 4th, I believe, is Sunday, because that's when I do CCOHs on Sundays. But of course, with Christmas, I am taking a bit of a break for the weekend. But January 4th, we're coming back and we're deep diving House of a Thousand Corpse. Since I've already deep dived Rob Zombie a few weekends ago, we are going to deep dive one of my favorite Rob Zombie films, and that is House of a Thousand Corpse. We also have on the chopping block Tommy Lee Wallace. Since many of you had no idea who Tommy Lee Wallace is here in this chat when we spoke about him, we're going to do a deep dive on Tommy Lee Wallace as well. And there's a few others that are coming in. I am going to redo Event Horizon. We're going to bring that one forth. Event Horizon is one of my favorite movies. We will also look at doing Prince of Darkness and his apocalyptic trilogy for John Carpenter. So John Carpenter has 3 apocalyptic films that he believes is a trilogy, and Prince of Darkness is one of them. So we are going to deep dive the 3 that he feels is the apocalyptic trilogy. That is coming up in the new year for Coffee Chat of Horrors. It's a good thing horror is such a vast topic. You would have run out of things to talk about years ago, right? I'm also going to watch Dark Shadows. I fucking love the original TV show Dark Shadows, but I do love the movie. I do love the movie with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp plays an amazing vampire. One of my favorite Christmas, on Christmas Day, it means we're going to have one day off eating leftovers. Hell yes, we are, Vanessa. Event Horizon is so good. I did do a deep dive. I'm glad you love CCOH, Speedy. I love doing all the work to get it. As you may notice, if you're a fan of my show, Coffee Chat of Horrors, you notice I do not regurgitate IMDb shit, because not to badmouth IMDb, anybody can post on IMDb. If you have an account, because I have an IMDb for Coffee Chat of Horrors, it's up there. If you guys have an account, you can go and give it a review. However, anybody can put information into IMDb. This is why I do not take IMDb as gospel, and I look in my books. I have books about John Carpenter. I have lots of horror books about that have talked about The Thing, have talked about Escape from New York, and so forth and so on. I also go through interviews. So Fangoria magazine, I have a ton of Fangoria magazines that have interviews with John Carpenter. I also have Rue Morgue that I go through. So I go through not only my physical media that I go through and get information from, I also watch director's cuts. I also watch documentaries. I don't pull a lot of my research from the internet if I don't have to. If I do have to, then it's from their actual bio pages. It's from their actual sites. I don't really like regurgitating the shit that's on the internet, because a lot of the times it's shit and it's not real. Hello, Moon Squatch. That's why Wikipedia sucks too. Oh, 100%. I wouldn't trust anything on Wikipedia either. First rule of Fight Club: do not talk about Fight Club. I fucking love Fight Club. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I like Black and White. Black and White, and that's serial killer's favorite monster movie. Welcome back from that ad, guys. Welcome back. I like ones from 1966, movies from 1966. I still need to watch Dark Shadows, over 1,000 episodes. The TV series Dark Shadows is great. It's a great British TV series. The movie is awesome. I have the book. I have the novel. It's this fucking thick of Dark Shadows. How you doing, Moon? So if you did miss our Coffee Chat of Horrors deep dive into John Carpenter, you can actually watch this VOD on YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble. If you want to check out my other lineups, I have George A. Romero that I have discussed, Rob Zombie, Wes Craven, Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci, Pier Paolo Pasolini, Mario Bava, Tom Savini, William Castle. We did one of the most disturbing true stories you'll ever hear, which is The Girl Next Door from 2007. I've deep dived Lisa Frankenstein, Abigail, Phantasm. I fucking love Phantasm. I've done Wreck, Serpent in the Rainbow, Itchy the Killer. I've done quite a bit. There's over 8 years of Coffee Chat of Horrors that you can listen to if you want. Ra has her books. I use digital hunting for images only, no books. 2 different ways of doing things, but it works 100%. Reaper, you're not wrong. I bust Wikipedia warriors on the Star Wars side all the time. Big channels who just plagiarize the Wikipedia and pretend to be lore masters is disgusting. You can tell passionate fans from frauds. It's not hard. No, it's not hard. I would agree with you. Star Wars is you would love my Star Wars jacket. It is my winter jacket. It is interchangeable. One side is Solo, Han Solo, and the other side is Chewbacca. Right? Boy. That is one of the most unnerving ways boy is said in Phantasm by the tall man. You've done other horror movies. I like Nightmare on Elm. I've done a ton of horror movies. Some of my earlier works were A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But then I got tired of doing mainstream horror because everybody and their mother was doing mainstream horror. You can find it all over YouTube. So that's why I started to shift CCOH into underrated gems, directors, actors, special effects people. And I also shifted to international horror. We did an entire month last year on J horror. We did Chinese horror, Japanese horror, Korean horror. We did French and Spanish. We did Indonesian, just because they deserve to have just as much media exposure as any of the mainstream horror films. And when I say J horror, we did Ju-on, Ringu. We also for Dream Home. We did quite a few. So I don't really do mainstream horror as much as other people on YouTube do because it's overdone. Everybody and their fucking mother has regurgitated the same shit. I don't want to regurgitate. So I wanted to create my own stuff. Hi, Horror Stream. How are you? Crazy to think they added platform shoes to make him taller. Right. I did an entire deep dive on Phantasm, so if you're interested, I know Zombie, you were there for it. Have you watched the despecialized trilogy of the Star Wars films, Star Wars fan? I have not. I've watched the movie Fanboys. I love it. Star Wars Theory is the main culprit. Haha, triggered him so bad he came on one of my streams to debate me. Big plagiarist and corporatized YouTube channel. Have you seen Under the Shadow yet? No, I have not. I have a list of Middle Eastern movies that I have to watch, primarily Saudi films that I have to watch. My friend Kaneki, who lives over there, has sent me a few films. I just haven't had the time to watch anything, to be honest with you. So when I take this short Christmas break, what do you think I'm going to be doing? Besides spending time with my grandbabies and Heavy and my family, I am going to be watching movies because there's so much I have to catch up on. So much. I've just been so busy. This year has been a crazy year for me. Ra doesn't regurgitate, she educates. You got that damn right. I don't like regurgitating. And you can tell there's a lot of big YouTube channels that regurgitate. They pull from IMDb thinking that it's gospel. And I watch them. especially in the horror community. I have watched films because I like to do deep dives, right? So when I deep dive, I look at my books first. If I don't have anything in the magazines or the books that I own, then I turn to the DVDs, director's cuts, etc. Then my last resort is going online and watching for interviews. So then I'll utilize YouTube because it is pretty big wealth of interviews and documentaries. So I will go through their documentaries and their lists. So it takes me a week to do Coffee Chat of Horrors one episode. It takes me a friggin' week because I sit there and I watch documentaries and I write down things that I thought was interesting. And then I try to confirm what I find online in those interviews. There's a lot of people that I have watched on YouTube in the horror community that are big creators that regurgitate shit that's not true, but treat it like gospel because they found it on IMDb. I have about 1 million horror films on my to watch list. Don't we all horror stream? Don't we all? I will sleep if I end up getting time off. Yeah, you do sleep. The Kudo was my favorite part of Phantasm. Oh, that's the dog making shit noises. Rod watches them and gets totally triggered when they spout out bullshit. I really do. No regrets. Have you done Suspiria? No, not yet. Actually, Suspiria is on my list because we spoke about the director of the original Suspiria, guys. The original. It's Gonna Rain. Oh, no, Vanessa. That sucks. I will have a command, by the way, done up for my playlist. Yeah, they did a remake of Suspiria. I haven't seen the remake, but we can add the I have an easy job, only takes me a day to make the screens. Rod does the hard work and research. Yeah. We actually deep dive Dario Argento's we deep dive Dario Argento, I want to say about a month ago. No, 2 months ago now. I'm pretty sure it was 2 months ago. We deep dive Argento. We did touch a little bit, tiny bit on Suspiria, but nothing major. However, the directors that I have spoke about earlier this year, coming into October, because that's when CCOH came back for its 8 seasons. There are movies that we spoke about the directors. I will be deep diving those movies. Martin is one of those movies. Cover the 3 witch trilogies. We can cover the 3 witch trilogies. My cohort, Reaper 1923, is actually watching on YouTube right now. He creates my imagery that you get to see when I do see COH. And he has a working list. Watching Freddy vs. Jason is one of my favorite fucking films. Nice. One of my favorite films. Who here has seen the movie Martin? Anybody? Martin came out in 1977. I know some of you here in the Horde have seen it because you watched it with me. I love Freddy vs. Jason. Martin was an interesting movie. Martin is a vampire film. It's a horror drama. And it is written by George A. Romero. It is a George A. Romero vampire film. The Alien film, the cast didn't know about the chest burst scene. Yeah, there's a lot of fake shit out there. That's why when I want information, I have a big physical media collection. I usually go and get my director's copy if there's a director's copy. If there's not a director's copy, I go through all of my Fangorias because I've been collecting Fangorias since I was like 12. So I go through Fangoria, I go through my books, I go through my physical media collection, and then if I can't find anything or if I don't have it there, I then go to the websites. I go to the director's websites. I go to interviews. I look at Fangoria's website, Rue Morgue's website, Monsters, etc., etc. I don't just pull shit. I do my due diligence. That's what makes Coffee Chat of Horror stand out against the others. It's a live horror show that nobody else does, and it's a deep dive. Not seen it, but I have got a hold of it. Awesome, Arthur. I'm going to tell you to watch George A. Romero's vampire film. Did you know that George A. Romero made a vampire film? Literally changed the lore of vampirism. And I love George Romero's version of vampire lore. I fucking love it. It's the vampire lore we need, that we deserve. 100%. I have one Fangoria where the magazine collections are. Nice, Vanessa. Nice. But the hot blonde doesn't show her tits. So annoying because you know they are great. I'm going to go kick Ronnie, you ass dummy. What? Space vampires? George Romero? What are you talking about? Horror stream? Oh, Mr. Loki is a whining. Life Force, From Dusk Till Dawn, amazing. Oh, we should deep dive Life Force 1985. Who here has seen Life Force? I know it's not a huge movie. Dusk Till Dawn. I think I deep dived Dusk Till Dawn. I don't think I have it. Life Force? Oh, yeah. Space vampires. So when Horror Stream said space vampires, I automatically thought of Life Force. You have heard of Life Force? Oh, Lord, yes. Then we needs to then. It is directed by the man who created Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper. It is a space vampires arrive in London. It is a good movie. Yes, Tobe Hooper. Yes. Well, when you said space vampires, that's what I thought of automatically was Life Force. It's been a while. I will look into Life Force. Yes, look into Life Force. If you can get it, Serial, let me know. I have it on Blu-ray, but I don't have it digitally, like on my computer. It's 1985. It's an hour and 41 minutes long, and it is a great film. Great film. Just like Martin from 1977, George A. Romero is known for his zombie films. Let's be real. When you speak of George A. Romero, what do you think of? You don't think of vampires. You think of zombies. You think of ghouls. You think of the undead. You think of how he recreated zombie lore, which we didn't have before, right? He recreated vampire lore. He's not known for his vampire films. He's done one vampire film, and I love it. Some love Life Force. I just liked it. Yeah, some do love it, some like it, some don't. From Beyond is a good movie. Ghost of Mars is one of my fucking favorites. I have the collector's edition of Ghost of Mars. You know, Ice Cube doesn't like Ghost of Mars, but do you know that the Ghost of Mars basically incorporates with Escape from New York and LA? I did a deep dive on Ghost of Mars a long time ago. Maybe we'll redo another one. It's one of my favorite films. I have heard of Life Force. It's on Amazon Prime. Guess I started watching it. I'll restart it. Some people like it, Evil Ken. Some people don't like it. I'm sure I've never seen Life Force. You've never seen it. Interesting. I remember hearing about Life Force. Don't think I saw it. I love Tobe Hooper. So I have watched quite a few Tobe Hooper films. Not everybody likes Tobe. But when I get a hard on for a director, I usually try to watch all of their fucking films. Yeah. And he's one of the masters of horror, right? Has anybody seen Masters of Horror TV show back in 2005? You guys remember it? Life Force has tons of tits in it. Serial would like it. Serial will definitely like it. Mick Garris is also the creator. And I don't know if you guys know. You know what? Can we add Mick Garris onto the list? Because I don't know if people know who Mick Garris is. Can we add Mick Garris onto the CCOH Director Deep Dive? Sold? Yeah, all you have to do is say there's tits in it. And Serial is sold. Mick Garris is another amazing creator. Obviously, one of the lesser known. I like Ronnie Yu, the Hong Kong horror movie director. Right on, right on. I will buy a 4K version if possible. There is a 4K version of Life Force. I own it. So, yes, you can get it. It's been a while. Yeah. Masters of Horror is great. I'm pretty sure you can watch it on Tubi in America. I use my VPN to watch it. It's not on Canadian Tubi. However, if you missed any part of Coffee Chat of Horrors, you are able to watch this in full on YouTube, Rumble, and on Twitch. I don't suggest watching my VOD on Twitch because I just don't suggest it. I suggest going to my YouTube channel. That is a shorter version of CCOH. It doesn't have the just chatting scene like you guys get on Rumble or Twitch. YouTube CCOH now has been starting at the disclaimer scene. And then CCOH. Mick Garris, yes, that is correct. That is correct. MickGarris. Serial just wants to see HD boobs. Who doesn't? He is a simple man. Boobs, bikes, tattoos, and rum. Twitch is in bad shape. It is. I am a big believer of putting your content everywhere. I like to say that my shit's like the Frank's Red Hot sauce. I put that shit on everything, and I do. I put that shit on the 3 main. That is Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble for me. I do not use Kick. I used to, but got away from that robot place. You love Frank's Red Hot. That's why you love my stuff so much, Profits. Boobs, of course, they're awesome. But definitely, I'm a big believer of putting everything everywhere because you need to be exposed. You need to have exposure, right? And putting yourself on one platform pigeonholes you. It pigeonholes you. So you want to put it everywhere. I may not have a huge view count on other platforms. There may be 6 to 7 people on one, 50 on the other, and then another 10 to 20 on the other one, maybe even 6. What's up, Gecko, darling? Did someone say 4K boobs? That they did. How are you, Gecko? How are you doing? It is about that time, guys. It is 12:30, so we are going to do our little ending, but I want to see how Gecko Chaser is doing beforehand. My next live stream will be Monday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. We will be doing Dead by Daylight, I think. Dead by Daylight or Diablo, one or the other. Anyways, Monday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll also be doing our very last Gunner Optics live stream and giveaway. It's not our last Gunner live stream, but it's going to be our last Gunner giveaway. So Monday, if you want to get yourself a snazzy pair of Gunners like these are my prescriptions. I am loving these. If you guys want to get a pair, I'm giving away a free pair on Monday. Okay, I had my leads adjusted, so a bit off of pain. I'm sorry, Gecko. Can we get some juju in the chat for Gecko, please? I will slowly turn this world back into the 1980s and 1990s by normalizing the love for expressing the love for tits and any other manly shit we grew up with talking about. Sensitivity is on notice. Sensitivity is on notice, you mean? But there are pills for that. I do hope you feel better, Gecko. I do. I really do. Movie starting in 30 minutes. There is a horror movie. There is a John Carpenter movie starting in my Discord by Darkbreaker in about 30 minutes. So if you guys want to check it out, make sure you have the movie roll. We do movies every Saturday in the Discord at 6 p.m. Mountain Time and every Sunday in the Discord with Darkbreaker at about 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Gecko, I love your guts. I do hope you feel better. You got to go prep your Monday stream. Awesome, Bane. You have a Merry, Merry Creepmas. I'm sure I will see you before then. It is what it is, Gecko. You're here now, my friend. You are here now, so it is all good. We are going to do our credits, but yes, Merry Creepmas to many of you that I may not see over the next week. I will be streaming up until Christmas Eve. So if you want to catch my live streams on Rumble or Twitch or YouTube, I will be streaming Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is Christmas Eve. I will not be on. Thursday is Christmas Day. I will not be on. I will also not be live on Friday. I will be coming back to streaming on the Monday. How do I get into the Discord group? Evil Ken, right there. Right there is the Discord. Deadwalk has grabbed that for you. Yeah, so after Christmas break on the 24th, I will be back on the 29th. Merry Creepmas, everybody. And to all an evil night. Exactly. And when you get in there, Evil Ken, I'll give you the movie roll link and you can go and watch movies with the rest of us. Awesome, Evil Ken. Welcome into the Discord. I will give you the role. Please feel free to look around, enjoy the place, be a part of the place. We have no crazy rules. Just respect one another as we are all here for the love of something, either horror, companionship, or coffee chat of horrors. All right, guys, I love your guts. Have an amazing weekend. I'm off to make pierogies. Be safe out there and stay warm. I will see you guys Monday right here, same place, different time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Mwah. Thank you so very much for enjoying this stream of Coffee Chat of Horrors. Bye.